Well, hello there. I'm Lance, and welcome to Dozing Off. Dozing Off is a podcast where I'm gonna read you to sleep. I'll narrate short stories and classic literature in this deep and relaxing tone to allow you to put your overactive mind at ease and doze off. This story is being recorded on Christmas Day, so if the audio sounds any different, well, that is because I'm recording from my childhood bedroom currently, so bear with me. But I do have a exciting story for you. I promised no more Christmas stories, but I didn't promise a little magic of going into the new year. Tonight's story is a feel-good story called The Boy Who Borrowed a Perfect Year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And now, let's get all snuggled up. Let's fluff up our pillows. Make sure the comforter is pulled over us. Close our eyes and dive into tonight's story. The Boy Who Borrowed a Perfect Year. The last night of Christmas. The last night of Christmas did not arrive with bells or voices or laughter. It arrived quietly. The kind of quiet that does not announce itself, but instead settles into corners and waits there, patient and unmoving, as though it has nowhere else it needs to be. The boy sat on the edge of his bed, his feet barely touching the floor, wrapped in a sweater that had once belonged to someone taller than he was. The sleeves swallowed his hands, and he tugged them down farther, hiding his fingers as though they too felt exposed. The room was small but tidy. Nothing here was broken. Nothing was falling apart. Yet everything felt unfinished, like a sentence that had trailed off before reaching its meaning. Across the room stood a Christmas tree. It was real, not plastic, and its needles had begun to dry, collecting softly on the floor beneath it. No ornaments hung from its branches. No lights wound their way through its limbs. It stood bare and patient, like something that had arrived hopeful and been forgotten. The boy meant to decorate it. He truly had. But days had slipped past more easily than he expected, and intention alone had not been enough. Outside the window, frost traced delicate patterns along the glass. Street lamps glowed in steady halos of amber light. Somewhere far away, a car passed, its tires whispering against the road before the sound faded into nothing. Christmas was over. He did not feel dramatic sadness. There were no tears waiting to fall, no sobs caught in his throat. Instead, there was a dull heaviness, a quiet ache that sat behind his ribs and refused to move. Christmas used to mean warmth. Not just warmth from fires or food, but warmth from voices saying his name, from hands resting on shoulders, from the simple comfort of being noticed. This year, Christmas had passed like any other day. And now, the new year was coming. That was what frightened him most. A new year meant more days like this one. More mornings waking without anticipation. More evenings filled with silence. More time stretching endlessly ahead, unmarked and indifferent. "I don't want it to start," he whispered. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, unmoved by his wish. Second by second, time continued forward. The boy lay back and stared at the ceiling, watching shadows shift gently as the street lamp outside flickered. His thoughts grew heavier, softer, blurring at the edges as sleep began to approach. That was when the light changed. At first it was barely noticeable, a subtle easing of darkness, as though moonlight itself had learned how to breathe. Then came a sound, faint and delicate, like tiny bells ringing underwater. The boy opened his eyes. Near the foot of his bed, a glow shimmered into existence. It hovered just above the floor, pulsing gently until it gathered itself into the shape of a small figure. She was no taller than a lantern. Her wings were translucent and veined like frost-touched leaves. Her hair shimmered softly, as though it remembered the stars. Her eyes were ancient and kind, carrying the calm of many passing years. "Good evening," she said, her voice barely louder than a thought. The boy sat up, heart pounding, yet strangely calm. "Are you real?" he asked. She smiled, not amused, not surprised, only understanding. "Real enough," she replied, "and you are very awake for someone who wishes the night would carry him away." "I wasn't sleeping," the boy said. "I was thinking." "Yes," she said gently. "I could feel that." She floated closer, stopping just far enough away to respect the quiet of the room. "You stand at a turning," she said. "A year is ending, another one waits to begin. Moments like these invite possibility." "I don't make wishes anymore," the boy said quickly. "Then tonight," the fairy replied, "wishes will make themselves for you." She extended her hand. Resting in her palm were 3 small lights. One warm like candle flame, one cool like moonlight, one soft and shifting like dawn. "3 wishes," she said, "not for things, for ways of living." The boy hesitated. "What happens after?" he asked. "You will live the year that follows," she said, "fully, and when it ends, you will remember." Silence settled between them. Finally, the boy spoke. "I wish to wake each day feeling like I belong somewhere." One light lifted and vanished. "I wish that when I try, it matters." Another light rose and disappeared. The boy paused longer this time, then whispered, "I wish to feel happy without being afraid it will disappear." The final light drifted upward. The fairy closed her hand. "Sleep," she said softly. "Your year is waiting." The boy's eyelids grew heavy. "You won't need to see me again," she added. "You'll carry this with you." And the room faded into rest. Now it's January. The boy woke to light. Not harsh light, not demanding light. Just a soft wash of morning resting against the walls. For a long moment, he stayed still, listening to the quiet sounds around the house. Pipes hummed faintly. A bird called from somewhere outside. The world felt present, but not urgent. Something was different. There was no weight pressing him back into sleep. No dread curling in his stomach. Just a calm awareness of being awake. He sat up slowly and let his feet touch the floor. Downstairs, he made breakfast without rushing. He noticed the warmth of the mug between his palms, the sound of the spoon against ceramic, the way steam curled upward and vanished. When he stepped outside, the cold bit sharply at his cheeks, but it felt honest, not cruel. A neighbor passed by and nodded. The boy nodded back. For the first time in a long while, he felt seen. Not watched, not judged, simply acknowledged. Each morning that month felt similar. Quiet, steady, not remarkable, but grounding. And slowly, without fanfare, the boy began to trust waking up again. Snow came often in February. It fell at night, soft and soundless, covering the world in pale calm. The boy learned the comfort of repetition, waking, dressing, stepping into the cold air. He walked the same paths, watched the same trees stand patiently beneath their white coats. One morning, he noticed a neighbor struggling to shovel a driveway. Without thinking too much about it, he joined in. When the work was finished, the neighbor smiled and handed him a mug of hot chocolate. The warmth stayed with him long after the mug was empty. Belonging, he learned, did not arrive suddenly. It built itself quietly through small, repeated kindnesses. March arrived with shifting weather. Snow melted, returned, then melted again. The world felt undecided, and in that uncertainty, the boy felt something stir inside himself. He joined a small after-school group. Not because he wanted praise, but because curiosity nudged him forward. The first few days were difficult. He stumbled, he doubted himself. But something was different now. Effort lingered. Each attempt left a mark, each mistake became a lesson instead of a weight. Slowly, skill replaced hesitation. For the first time, trying felt worthwhile. April brought rain and softer light. One afternoon, something small and unexpected made the boy laugh. A genuine, unguarded laugh that surprised him with its warmth. He waited for the familiar tightening in his chest, the fear that joy would vanish. It didn't. The feeling stayed, gentle, steady. He was starting to realize that happiness no longer frightened him. In May, the boy planted a seed. He pressed it gently into the soil, unsure of what would come. Each day, he watered it carefully, watching, waiting. When green finally broke through the earth, something loosened inside his chest. Growth, he learned, required patience and faith. June stretched the days long and slow. Evenings lingered. The air warmed. Fireflies appeared like small drifting stars. The boy sat outside often, breathing in the scent of grass and warm earth. For once, he was not waiting for time to pass. He was inside it. July brought a day at the lake. The water was cool, the sun bright. The boy floated on his back, staring up at the endless sky. Laughter drifted nearby. Joy rose gently inside him. And it stayed. For the first time, he trusted happiness to remain. August carried quiet tension. Change approached. New responsibilities, new paths. But the boy felt prepared. He packed, planned, and stepped forward without fear. Belonging followed effort now. September returned structure to the days. Challenges arose, but the boy met them with calm resolve. He trusted himself to continue, even when things were difficult. Leaves fell in October. The boy walked through them, listening to their soft crunch beneath his feet. He thought of all he had carried once, and all he had learned to release. November softened everything. Gratitude arrived quietly. Not loud or forced, just steady appreciation for ordinary moments. And all of a sudden, it was December again. Christmas returned. This time, The tree was decorated. Lights glowed warmly. The house felt full. On the final night of the year, the boy sat quietly and remembered. The fairy did not return. She did not need to. The year turned, and the boy understood. The wishes had not changed the world. They had changed how he lived inside it. He closed his eyes, and sleep came easily this year. I hope you're asleep, but if you're not, thank you for joining me tonight. Two things from that. One, I have struggled so much to find peace this holiday season. I don't know what it is, just mine's been all over the place, and this story was my first attempt at becoming present, and that really helped. Number two, in February we brought up hot chocolate, and I've been craving that throughout the rest of this reading, so I'm gonna go see if my mom has some. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I guess I will see you again in 2026.